Okay, here's how you make column charts. Now, they're called column charts in Google because columns go vertical, and a bar graph is if the data is going horizontal. The way that when you would use these is when you want to compare two things, so you're comparing two variables. This is a standard graph or chart that you're going to make for your experiments. This is a comparison of two different variables, like I said. The way it's going to set up is your y-axis is your dependent variable. That's the data that you'll be collecting. So that's the vertical axis. And your x-axis is your independent variable, the thing you're changing in your experiment to see what ends up happening. As pointed out before, it's very important that you set up your table correctly so that you can make your graph beautifully. So here I have brands of tape. I was running different types of tape to see how many pennies it could support in a cup, and then when it fell, then that was as much as it could support. It's important that you run your experiment more than once, so I've run it 5 times. That's a lot of information. So I want the average of these 5 things. The way that you calculate the average in Google Sheets is you want to give it an equation. You want to tell it to do some work. So you put equal sign, and then you type in what you want it to do. I want it to do the average. And then it gives me a parentheses, and then I want to highlight the cells that I want it to calculate the average for. So calculate the average for B7 through F7. Close parentheses, hit enter, and it calculates out the average. Now, if for some reason when you get your average calculated and you get a whole bunch of zeros behind there, you can go up here and do this numbers decimal, and you can decrease it to make it look a little cleaner for you. Neat trick. If I wanted to have that happen in all of the cells below, I can just grab that corner and drag it down. That's one option. Or another thing you can do is you can just grab this little box and double click on that corner, and it'll auto-fill that equation down until there's nothing in the cell beside it. All right, so it goes, and since there's nothing in this cell here, F12, then it stopped copying that formula down. So that's our average. So let's take a look at how this looks in a graph. I highlight this, go up here to insert chart, or I can go here to insert chart there as well. And this looks pretty nice. This looks good. So it knew that I was going to do a column chart. So it picked that. I have a bunch of different options. As you see, there's a pie chart as an option. This is only graphing one variable, a single trial. So that's not ideal. And pie charts always put things in percentages, so out of 100%. And that's not how we want our data to be represented in this type of experiment. You may notice the data may come through something like this, and you have trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, trial 4, trial 5. But if you see, I want brands of tape down here. I don't want my trials. I want brands of tape. So if you go to chart types, there's this cool little box to click that says switch columns and rows. That's what I'm looking for. I want duct tape, painter's tape, scotch tape, masking tape, and packaging tape. So this looks good. I like the way this is coming together. But a graph should tell the story of your experiment. And it should be like a visual representation, quick glance. I should see what your information is. And this is not great in the essence of I've got duct tape here, painter's tape here, scotch masking, packaging tape. I can move these around. There's no reason I need to have those in that order. So what I've done is I've made a new table down here, and I put the data in sequential order. So here I have the largest value, duct tape, and then packaging tape, and then masking tape, so on and so forth. So let's take a look and see how that graph looks when I do that. And see, this time it came through as trial 1, 2, 3 averages. So I go to chart types, undo this switch column rows. And there we go. We've got duct tape, packaging tape, masking tape, painter. So you can clearly see how things are shown. I really like the way that looks. Now I'm getting much closer to something that I like. But I've come to realize that maybe I don't need to give my reader all of this information. Since it's a graph, I just need to show them the average. I'm going to have a data table in the final project that's going to show me all of this information. So they can always look at that if they want. But what I'm going to graph is only the average. So what I've done is I've taken and made a little mini table from all of my stuff here and made an average table. I'm going to graph that. Now this is looking clean. I'm going to go and customize things. I want to put in my title there. Now, what I would recommend is I would recommend making everything look good in this format right here. And then before you hit insert, you could screenshot that, and that's what you could use for your final product. So I'm going to increase my font so that I can kind of fill up the space there. I like that. I'm going to scroll down. Legend I don't need because I'm only showing one data point, so that's good. My axis, the horizontal axis, is labeled correctly already, but I'm going to make it bold, the text, and I'm going to increase the font to 20. Now I got to do my vertical axis. Vertical axis is not average. There we go. It's number of pennies. And I'm going to keep it consistent, bold, undo italics, and size to 20. All right. Now, I don't know if I need this extra 50 of blankness there, right? So, cool little trick is I can add data labels. So if I go down to data labels, I can put the value in on there so that you can see exactly what the data is. I'm going to make this black. I think I like that. So I can see the data is 151 at the highest. So I don't want to go 150 because I'll lose stuff on my data. So I'm going to make my graph scale. Sorry, my computer is being a little clunky. Once it catches up to me here. All right, so there we go. So I'm scrolling up and I'm in the axes category. My minimum is going to be a 0 and my maximum is going to be 155. Because my highest I don't know if I like 155. Let's do 160. I like that. That way you can see 160 is up there. I've got these labeled 155, so on and so forth. That looks good. I like the way that looks. And I would then insert. All right. So there it is. There's your graph. All right, so you can screenshot what you have there like that. Or you could, as I like doing sometimes, is I can go here and I can make my own, move to my own sheet. And then it shows up down here in the bottom in its own sheet, and it looks like that. All right. Well, hope that helps.